Hello everyone, this is the Group 3 presentation on Kanban and Agile practice. To the typical question, what is Kanban? As exotic as it sounds, Kanban originates in Japan. So the Kanban words is comprises of the two Japanese words kan and ban, which in turns together means signboard in English. Roots of Kanban goes back to 1940s and it was originally developed by Taichi Ono at Toyota for a manufacturing scheduling system. It was influenced by self-serving techniques used in supermarkets at that time. This was somewhat different from other systems because it employed a pull-based system where upstream activities are triggered by downstream activity signals while reducing the production waste as much as possible while improving the production flow efficiency. And with the success stories in this manufacture industry, Kanban was brought into the software industry later. The first application of Kanban in software industry is recorded in 2004 by David J. Anderson while he was working at Microsoft. Simply put, Kanban is a workflow management system. It actually helps in visualizing the workflow, limiting work in progress, and maximizing the efficiency of an software development life cycle. So to do these things, Kanban uses a board consisting with story cards. These story cards are assigned into different people in a development team depending on their capacity. And also this board represents the state of a project at any given time. And these so-called story cards are categorized into different stages in the Kanban board, such as to do, completed, and in progress. As opposed to the idea of time-based iterations or sprints used in agile methods like Scrum, Kanban uses a pull-based system with a work in progress limit for each stage. Uh, when a when a task or feature is developed and moved into a different stage, new feature is pulled in back into the system or a stage while satisfying the work in progress limits for that stage for that specific development team. And these features are prioritized according to the value it adds to the end product, and not every features are pulled back to the system unless it is necessary. So with all those things, Kanban enables to minimize the waste in development software development cycle while removing bottlenecks and improving the efficiency of the workflow. So we will dive deep into the core principles of the Kanban method.
Kanban principles. There are two types of Kanban principles, namely change management and service management. Start with what you do now, agree to pursue incremental changes, encourage leadership are focus on change management, while focus on customer needs, managing work and relieving network of services are focus in service management.
Visualization is the foremost step in Kanban. In order to analyze the areas and key points that need to be optimized and refined or appreciated or highlighted in the process, it's important to visualize and illustrate about how the process is behaving in regards to current time. Visualizing the workflow plays a key input to a Kanban system, where you can have each step in the process corresponding to the columns or lanes in the Kanban reporting in the Kanban system. There is a process which can be utilized to visualize the process. Document the scope of the process that need to be visualized. Scope will be considering the start and end points of the process. Since the business operations and the process could be spread across different interrelated processes and subsystems, there will be some kind of pin down points where things need to be concentrated in a prioritized way. Second item in the process is the list steps that go into the process. After documenting the process, scope of the process, the next step will be the analyzing deeper into the process to identify how the process works and identify how steps fit into the end product. Third, and
Work in progress. Limited work in progress is one of the core principles in Kanban methodology. VIP limits will assign the maximum amount of requirements which the product development team can productively manage at each phase of the Kanban process. In simple terms, it's a limit on the total number of tasks which are in progress at a given time. VIP limits assist to create a manageable workflow and avoid overloads in the entire workflow. The Scrum Master or the team facilitator will set VIP limits. The team should make sure to set achievable VIP limits in order to make sure that the team will not burn out during the entire process. VIP limits are important as it reveals the bottlenecks and blockers at the early stage of the project. It assists the team to understand the actual capacity. It prevents the team from overburden, and also it assists and helps the team focus and complete the relevant tasks. With the use of VIP limits, it avoids team members from starting a new task when the current task is incomplete, and when the task turns out to be difficult or blocked. VIP limit ensures the entire team to focus on it and move forward only once the task is completed.
Let's take a look at the next core practices of Kanban, manage flow. This is a principle of Kanban that is used to keep the focus on work instead of people. So this focuses on managing and making the work faster through the system instead of micromanaging and keeping the employees busy all the time. So why do we need to manage flow? This is to have no wastages and to have only value-adding activities to make the flow a one-piece continuous flow. In software development, there are 7 main base types: partially done work, extra features over production, relearning, handoffs, delays, task switching, and defects. The main reason behind the flow is to eliminate these wastages, but also we should not become obsessed with removing these wastes and focus more on the return of time invested. So how can we help this work to flow? We should limit WIP, reduce waiting time by ensuring the work is ready, and strive for small and similarly sized worked items. Remove blockers, avoid rework, use cross-functional teams, and use SLAs or time boxing. The next key component of managed flow is having daily stand-up. So this is a great way to support the work to flow smoothly and do something for the problems which cause the work to flow. So in order to make this daily stand-up more efficient, we should make sure that the meeting is short, focused, starts and ends on time, and to do it on a regular basis. It is a great and a common choice to have the stand up in the morning by starting the day, checking the updates, as it's give a focused start, but it's not a mandatory requirement. So if we take a look at the Kanban practices around the stand-ups, we should focus on the work, not the workers. Walk the board from right to left, focus on spells and deviations, ensure the works are on the board, ensure the team is working on right tasks, encourage spontaneous Kaizen meetings after stand-up. The next key component is managing bottlenecks. So bottleneck is a step of process which slows down the production. So to manage these bottlenecks, a management theory has been built, and it is a theory of constraints. So we need to identify the constraints, exploit the constraints, subordinate other work to that decision, elevate the constraints, and rinse and repeat. The other key components are lead and cycle time. So lead time is the total time that client waits for the task to get delivered after the request has been made, and the cycle time is the actual work in progress time. This is used to track the time the task stays in different stages. Tracking this helps to measure the team performance. So having a low cycle time indicates that the team is efficient, and on the other hand, the high cycle time concludes that there are backlogs, bottlenecks, and stalls. Low cycle time helps to achieve low lead time and a high customer satisfaction through that. The next one is throughput. So the delivered work amount, ignoring anything unfinished, is called throughput. This helps to make a quick assessment on the team performances. The main advantage of throughput is to forecast future performance accurately. So the throughput is calculated as shown in the presentation based on the Little's law with the assumptions like the average arrival rate is equal to the average departure rate. All tasks entering the systems would exit the system as soon as they are completed. Variations in WIP should be kept at minimum for the time period in question. The average WIP age should remain the same, neither increasing nor decreasing. Consistent units must be used to measure throughput. WIP and lead need to be more focused on in order to make the process more predictable. So these diagrams provide quantitative and qualitative insight to the existing.
Okay, another core practices of Kanban is make process policies explicit. So why need to make process policies explicit? So actually Kanban board in itself can make process policies explicit, and seeing it lets the teams glean a lot about how the process flows. So stating policies and procedures frees up the team's mind space. When we are able to get into a state of flow, work can become almost effortless. People who need to constantly remind themselves how to work and have no easy way of accessing this information will never get into a state of flow. Making explicit policies accessible to the team has the potential to remove a lot of frustrations and hence to remove their performance. What are the policies in Kanban? The policies can be at the board level, at the swim lane level, and for each column. They can be a checklist of the steps to be done for each work item type. Entry exit criteria for each column, or anything at all that helps team members manage the flow of work on the board level. So how to modify a Kanban board to make process policies explicit? There are many ways to modify a Kanban board to make process policies. One is to redesign the board to specify how the work flows. Another one is to use WIP limits to explicitly state our policy about how much WIP we are able to take on.
Feedback loop is one of core practices of Kanban. It is focused on achieving continuous improvement. So there are 7 cadences which describe cyclical meeting, reviews and time period. One is strategy review. It is high-level meetings to verify the company strategy. Duration is about 4 hours quarterly basis. Another one is operation review. It is to understand the balance between Kanban services. Duration is 2 hours monthly. Risk review is to understand and respond to the risk to effective delivery of services. Duration is 2 hours monthly. Another one is service delivery review. It is to examine and improve effectiveness of services. This happens 30 minutes bi-weekly. And the other one is replenishment meetings. So teams should be able to focus on how each task can be accomplished by assigning additional team members. This happens 30 minutes weekly. And the other one is stand-up meetings. It is daily planning meetings. It is to check how everything is going, and this happens 15 minutes daily. And the other one is delivery planning meetings. The delivery planning meeting is to monitor and plan deliveries to clients. This happens 1 to 2 hours per delivery cadences. And moving on to next core practices of Kanban, it is improve collaboratively, evolve experimentally. This will share all of the measurements that we have gathered and encourage a team to come up with suggestions.
Managing a portfolio holistically to maximize its returns predictably and quickly is a huge challenge. At work or in a business, we need to make sure that we are investing in the right project or project portion to maximize the values in return. Managing portfolios in programs and projects for on-track performance lets us get early signals if the project are in risk or project is underperforming. Scrum both ensures that the work gets from the product backlog to the customer in the shortest possible time. And Kanban doesn't allow wide-ranging development just like Scrum. And the roles of the teams are not defined in Kanban as they are in Scrum, so we can consider Kanban is more flexible. Kanban is best for projects with widely varying priorities, whereas Scrum is best for the teams with stable priorities that may not change as much over the time. Kanban is well suited for work where there is no big backlog of features to go through, rather than the focus is on quickly completing small pieces of work as they come up. A common example of this is a team assigned to fixing production incidents. Kanban works really well here because the work pop up in front of the team rather than pull in from the team. The work is in small discrete pieces. There's no overall long-term objective going much anywhere. But I would not recommend pure Kanban if you are doing a complex product work where you need to plan, gather feedback, and use that feedback to inform your next planning cycle.
The disadvantages of Kanban. Kanban cannot be used independently. There is lack of time. Kanban is inappropriate for dynamic environment. Also, the quality mistakes can occur.
Thank you.